DFS advice. This is for Tuesday, March 29th. We're having a live Q&A here, FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, any other weird sites you guys might play on. I'm here with, you guys might know him as Jayhawk, might know him as Nick. Either one. Nick, how are we doing today?
What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Got a short little slate here. Excited to break it down with you, Boyle.
Yeah, no, I'm excited we got this in. I know you had a test going on today, about an hour
Yeah,
ago-ish, and he just booked it right from his test to get on this stream. So that's just what we call dedication.
sir. Got to go from place to place. Let's get it.
Exactly. So I'm going to go through real quick, start off the stream, just talking about, I guess, the injuries, just like I always do. And after that, we can dive in. I know there's not a plug today, so we're going to be coming up with our own if thans on the spot, which is sometimes better because it's later in the day, more news is broken. So first off, I see Zach Levine. He's questionable. I personally think Levine plays. I know that the only reason he's questionable is I don't want to call it load management, but it's load management. And I know that he played in a back-to-back a week ago. So I don't see him getting held out of this game because it's a back-to-back. So I really think Levine plays. We'll break that situation down just in case, but I think Levine plays. Paul George is questionable. I doubt he plays tonight. I really don't see him hitting the floor. Gobert's once again questionable. He sat out last game. LeBron, obviously, he's doubtful tonight, which is why Westbrook is the cover boy for the stream tonight. And the other one, not that it's really important, Anthony Davis is doubtful. I don't think he plays either. So, Nick, I kind of broke down what I thought with Zach Levine. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So we saw this. I don't know, like a week ago. He ended up playing the game. I think he had the same load management Q tag. I kind of looked. I think he probably plays, but I think there's still a shot he doesn't play. He hasn't had a rest day in a couple of weeks, so I'd probably say more 50-50, but I think there's a shot he sits. I'd probably lean with you. I think he probably plays though.
In that case that we do get news break in, the game's a 7 o'clock game, so we're going to have news before the slate hits. So in the event that he actually does sit, we can look at Chicago Bulls players who will see the most usage and kind of play that. I know we talked about this last week when we had the stream. DeMar DeRozan has a 40% usage rate in this situation with Levine just off the court. Levine and Ball off the court. DeMar DeRozan, 40% usage, 1.35 fantasy points per minute. He's going to want to get locked in as probably our favorite stud for tonight. So that's how we see it. Top play, DeMar. Vooch has a 28.4% usage rate, 1.28 fantasy points per minute. As much as we like paying up at a center tonight, Vooch is a pretty good alternate there. And then the other one, Kobe White, is also 22.2%, almost one full TK point per minute. So he's probably the third option there, definitely behind DeRozan and Vooch. Nick, do you agree there, or do you want to add anything?
Yeah. One more thing, Ao DeSomu is, or however you pronounce that, is 3.6K on FanDuel. I don't know his DK price. Let's look here. It is 4.2K or 4.4K. So I think on FanDuel, I think he's too cheap to be playing a starting role without Levine. So Levine out, like DeSomu on FanDuel at 3.6.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Honestly, I think he started last game as well when Levine played.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't mind him as just a value option. I know the model loves him too tonight. The model actually ranks him as the what is he? He is the second favorite FanDuel value of the night, 19.9. So normally we say anything over 20 is like almost a near lock for cash on the model. We have a 20.0 and a 19.9. So it was right there with we're going to want to plug him in.
Yep, I completely agree. And I think Levine being out, yeah, like we said, makes it even better. So he's in play, Levine's in, but almost a lock if Levine's out.
Yep, I agree with that. So we have a first question in the chat here. Good evening. What are your favorite value plays, and do you have a core?
Yeah. So
you want to start that one?
Yeah, for sure. So value, like we just said, AO at 3.6. Thomas Sadaransky, I know he grades well in the model as well. He's 3.6K on FanDuel. He just has recently been getting the start for Washington. He's averaged like around mid 20s in fantasy points the past 2 games since he's gotten the start. So I think he's a good value play. I think we haven't went over this, but I think Rudy Gay is in play as a value if Gobert sits in it. So you got Rudy Gay at 4.2K. If Gobert were to sit, and then this is not really a value, but Sadiq Bey is 5.5K on FanDuel compared to 7K on DraftKings. So I think relative to DraftKings, Bey is a really good play on FanDuel. And then that's kind of what I was looking at. I think Wyndon Gabriel at 3.5K is a punt without LeBron is in play as well. And then, sorry, one more thing. Core, I would say Luka, assuming Levine doesn't play, I would go DeRozan and Westbrook.
Oh, perfect. So my value plays are very similar. Obviously, we look at the same stats and everything. I do want to add in Stanley Johnson. I know that Stanley started the game against Philly for LeBron. That was 2 games ago. Played 35 minutes, put up 30 FanDuel points. So he's also a value play that I like on both sides. I think he's even cheaper on DK. I think he's 3.3. Yeah, right up on the screen, 3.3. So he's probably up there with Wayne Gabriel for me. As long as he starts, that's what they did last game. So I'm assuming they're going to go back to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a good GPP play. I don't know about you. I'd probably consider him more of a GPP play rather than a cash play there. So.
Yeah, I mean at 3.3, if he's confirmed starting, I really don't mind that as a
cash play.
But again, I want him confirmed starting, which that game tips off at 7:30. There's a chance that we don't know.
So I'm trying to think. I know they're gonna start Gabriel. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Stanley will slide in maybe as the 3, and then they'll probably play Gabriel at the 4.
It's hard though because they have Monk come off the bench and they have Anthony, and each one of those guys is going to see about 25 minutes. So it's really hard to nail it down. But I just think Johnson's price, assuming he starts, is he's going to be a pretty good value play in my opinion. But I agree. The top play on the Lakers is definitely Westbrook here.
Yeah, for me, it's like Westbrook, and then these other guys are just kind of like they're harder, like Gabriel and Johnson. They're harder to predict who's gonna go off. So I think it's Westbrook drop off. You want to go one of those guys? I'd go Gabriel and then Johnson, like you said, for value.
Yeah, I agree. I will say that if you're looking for value plays, assuming Levine plays, which we both think he does, I'm going a majority of my value plays from the Lakers within Stanley Johnson and Gabriel, especially those two. Because, I mean, again, without LeBron in that Philly game, we saw Johnson go for 30. We saw Gabriel go for, I'm just pulling it up real quick. He had 25 FanDuel points in that game. He only cost 3.5. So, 3.5 on FanDuel. So, both of those guys, in my opinion, are probably going to be 2 of your value plays. Throw in AO in there, and those are the 3 that's probably going to round out your cash lineup, assuming that Levine's out.
Yeah, one more thing. I just looked at my phone. It says Paul George is on track to play today.
I just saw that as well. I was going to address that, but I mean, I don't personally see him playing more than like 15 minutes.
Yeah, no.
But I mean,
I think he's going to be on a minutes limit, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm on track to play.
Yeah, it was funny because literally about 2 minutes after I said I don't see him playing, they announced he's on track to play.
It's always what happens. It's always the opposite of what you said.
I see the model has him at 21.1 minutes projected, which I think is a pretty fair.
He's not a
projection right there.
Not a play at all.
So yeah, so this is obviously a live Q&A. So any more questions anyone has, just throw them in the chat. We're happy to answer them. Until then, I know we kind of went over our top value plays. Do you want to go over your top stud plays for tonight?
Yeah, for sure. So, I think Luka is number 1 for me. He's playing the Lakers. He's relatively cheap on FanDuel, and he's got the upside on DraftKings as well. He gets a phenomenal matchup against the Lakers, and he's shown that he can go for 70 in these spots. He's obviously playing without Kristaps since he's on Washington, so I think he's in a phenomenal spend, probably my favorite spend. And then, like we said, DeRozan's 8K on FanDuel for some reason. So I really like DeRozan in a plus matchup against Washington. And then Westbrook is another spend against Dallas without LeBron. Usually don't go here, but he's shown a way safer floor recently. So I think I can hop on the train now that he's had multiple 40-plus fantasy point game performances. So I get my order: Luka, DeRozan, Russell. Those are my 3 spendos right now.
Oh, perfect.
And
so
then
if I had oh no, go ahead.
no, sorry, Vooch. Still like him if Levine's in. Levine's out, he's a lock to me. We know bigs against Washington. We love picking on them, even with Kristaps there. I think he's a great player either way, but stone cold lock if Levine's out.
Oh, I love it. So as much as I love Luka tonight against the Lakers, I'm gonna have to be a little bit different here. I want to say Giannis is my top stud of the night,
Okay.
just because he's played the Sixers 2 times so far this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He averages 65 PK points per game in this situation, and that's just averaging.
Yeah.
So I feel
like
like now with like the playoffs are what a week and a half away.
Very
Both
close.
teams are tied for basically the 2 seed essentially. I mean, I feel like both teams are gonna give it their all tonight, treat it like a playoff game, and if that's the case, I could definitely see Giannis hitting above that 65 point marker.
Yeah, I like that. I think
mean,
he's.
Mike. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, sorry.
No, I was saying, I mean, as much as I love Luka, I feel like Giannis is probably my top stud of the night, and then from there, I'm gonna kind of copy you and go obviously Westbrook, and then assuming Zach's out, I'll say DeRozan as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think I didn't really look at Giannis in this list so far, but if he's truly averaging 65 against Philly, I think he's a great spend as well.
Yeah,
enough.
and I know
I
know Embiid normally does pretty well against the Bucks. I could plug that in real quick if you guys want a average here. I know last year he played really well against them. This year he has played against them 1 time and had 69 DraftKings points. So, I mean, if Levine's in and you could fit Embiid and Giannis in there, you can do a little game stack between the two. I do like that. However, obviously, back on February 17th or whatever, they didn't have Harden playing yet. So, obviously, Harden could step in and bring his usage down a little bit. But I do like that as a potential game stack, at least for GPPs.
I like Giannis for sure. And yeah, I mean, Embiid's fine. I just think, yeah, I think you're right. I think Harden cuts him a little bit, but he's shown he still has 60 plus fantasy point potential, so he's definitely a play.
Oh, perfect. So I don't see any more questions in the chat as of right now. We can move into who do you think are some low owned targets for yourself? It could be anything. Could be values, could be mid range, could be elite. Just I guess low owned. We don't have ownership on the model right now, so we're just gonna have to kind of assume here.
Yeah, so let's see. Low owned. Is it gonna be values or does it you want it to be elite or just like any type of low play?
Let's go mid range.
Mid range?
Yeah, we'll go mid.
Let's see. No, I'm gonna say on DK. I've been talking a lot about FanDuel, so I'll talk about some DK. On DK, I kind of like Bagley in the mid tier. I don't know if I think he should be lower owned, but really like him on DK, especially. I don't know, what is he, 5.7K over there? Yeah, I really like him there. Denny Audvio on FanDuel's 5.7K. Should get a boost with no Kuzma. He's been showing he can get 30 plus in all these games. So I think he's a good low on play in the mid tier. Let's see. Let's see who else loaned. KCP, I guess on FanDuel too at 5.2K. Could be lower owned. He's very scoring reliant, so he's definitely not safe at all. But he's shown he can get 40 burgers, so I think KCP is another low on play in the mid tier.
Yeah, no, perfect. I mean, you stole Bagley right out of my mouth. I know he's the highest ranked OF index at least. looking at that, but he's 5'6" on DK, 6'6" on FanDuel. He's going to be starting. He should be starting, I should say, just based off of Grant being out for the season. However, the second guy in there that is in a similar boat would be Isaiah Stewart.
Yep.
I think he saw over 35 minutes last game. What was it? 37 minutes last game. 32 and a half FanDuel points, and his FanDuel price didn't go up at all. It's still 5.2. So that front court is still kind of injured. So I would definitely look at him. He's more of a high risk one. But Bagley's definitely our low risk. He shouldn't be too high owned, so he'll be the low risk, low owned player of the night.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and one more value I didn't go over. If you want to get unique, Dwight Howard. I know it's a one center only on FanDuel, but 4.2K. I think he's in play as well. With no LeBron, you should get more rebounds, more opportunities to get buckets. So I like Dwight Howard at 4.2 as a value as well. I don't know if we went over him, but I think he's more of a risky value. He's a risky value, but I think he's in play for sure.
Yeah, I definitely like him as a higher risk option. I think we looked at the Lakers lineup and just skipped him. We went over everybody but him.
Yeah, we did. I didn't even realize him.
I definitely like him. I know that the Mavs do play small ball a lot. However, Dwight Powell still going to probably see about 25 to 28 minutes, and they're going to need Howard to counter him with that.
Yeah.
So, no, I could definitely see it. I mean, he's still cheap.
If you get, like, I don't know, 25 minutes out of Howard, he can get you, like, 30 fantasy points. And at that price, I think that could win you GPP. Depending on how Embiid does. Depending on how Embiid does, I think Howard could be sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be on Gabriel. I could see a lot of people being on Westbrook. Howard's probably going to go under round. I feel like no one's going to be looking at him tonight. As you said, I mean, especially on FanDuel where blocks are 3 points. I mean, hell, you can go out there and get 4 blocks in 25 minutes, and that's going to be enough to win you a GPP, you know?
Yeah, and, like, it doesn't take that much. Like, you could, I don't know. I think he's a good play. I don't know.
Yeah, no, so do I. So another person on the Lakers that we haven't discussed yet is Carmelo. I see someone in the chat just saying Melo ? So what are your thoughts on Melo tonight?
Melo's fine. I mean, he's so scoring reliant. I'm never like extremely high on him. Let's look at his price because that's a big. Let's see, 4.641 on DK and FanDuel. So yeah, I think he's in play again. Definitely not a building block or anything. I think he's fine as the sprinkling and GPPs and a couple of lineups, but definitely not like a one lineup or building block type play.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I'm looking at the Lakers usage right here. I see Carmelo has a 23.4% usage rate, about 1 fantasy point per minute. So, I mean, if he gets 28 minutes at these numbers, I mean, he's going to get you 6 times value, at least on FanDuel. So I definitely like him as like a higher risk option. However, I'm kind of going value in Westbrook on the Lakers, and then I'm going elsewhere for the remainder of my lineup, especially in low risk, which is what I normally play. And then in the chat we say, is anyone else's FanDuel account showing $0? Didn't know if they were having technical difficulty. I can look right now. At least on the mobile, I see $10 or whatever the hell I have in it for tonight. $10.
And I'm seeing mine just fine.
Okay. Yeah, so it might be. I don't know if it's on browser. Maybe I don't know if it's on the app. At least my app is working and showing what I'm putting in tonight.
I don't know. That's kind of weird.
All right. So.
Oh, one more thing. Sorry, I want to tell them. So I think a good idea tonight is kind of waiting on this Gobert news, especially if it comes out after lock, because there's no Whiteside to back up Gobert, and if he were to sit, could potentially go from like a Howard to like a Pascal, and he's gonna see 25 minutes tonight because they don't have any other big guys. So I think he's in play as well. That's definitely high risk, but Pascal has center eligibility, so you could pivot from. I just think that's something you could do.
Yeah, so I know that the Jazz picked up Greg Monroe.
Oh, they did.
I think it
Okay.
was so I think it was last week they picked him up on a 10-day.
Okay.
So today's going to be his first day available to play technically.
Okay, I didn't see that. Yeah, so that might hurt him a
So
little bit.
I personally love Greg Monroe as at least a fantasy player because I mean he was on the lineup that won me, I don't know, my first big win just cuz I mean he just destroys rebounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hell, if you're playing and they say, "Oh, Greg Monroe's getting the start for Gobert," I mean, I kind of like Monroe. If you're looking for a value option and you're kind of stuck with him, or you're like, "Oh, I don't want to go on to Howard because a bunch of people are going to be there. I don't want to go on this guy. I don't want to go on Pascal." And if Monroe's starting, I really don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
think
think
he's a
he's.
pretty good GPP play.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends how many minutes you think he's gonna get. You think he's gonna get 20? You get 20 at 5K, knowing he's a good fancy producer. I think he's gonna play. I just don't know if he's gonna play and start. That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if he's going to start. I'm really not sure, but I mean, there's some of these games. I think they're this year. I see him 22 minutes, put up 28 fantasy points. He got what was it? 15 minutes in this game, put up 17. 22 minutes in this game, I'm sorry, 13 minutes in this game, put up 22. He definitely has the potential. I mean, again, I wouldn't touch this in low risk, but if you're in a high risk situation and you need someone late swap or something, I don't mind that at all.
No, I agree. I agree
But
for sure.
no, perfect. So I don't see anything else in the chat right now. We have about 5 minutes left. So any more questions, is obviously just throw them in the chat. We'll help you out. We'll answer them. So I was talking about how I'm building tonight, which is kind of just plugging in value and then throwing in the stars around it. Are you kind of the same tonight? What are you looking at?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think you put me on Giannis. I really like Giannis now. I think I'm just jamming Giannis, DeRozan, Luka, Westbrook. I'm going around those four, and then filling in with the Sadiq Bays on FanDuel, the Dwight Howard, Satoranskis, the Samus. I don't know how you pronounce that. Just those guys as values and just using them all to your advantage there. I mean, you got Westbrook who can go for 50. You got DeRozan who can go for 50. Giannis can go for 70. Luka can go for 70. So you got all the upside in the world, and you just need these value guys just to get 25, 20, and then that's all you need to get up to the top, I think, or at least the cash. But I don't know, I like it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing. Stars and stripes. Isn't that what we called it last time? Stars
Yeah,
and stripes.
stars and stripes.
Stars and stripes approach. And then, so last question I have. I don't see any more questions in the chat, so I'll kind of end it on this one for tonight. I know that some slates you text me midday and you're like, I have an edge for this slate. I can't wait for this stream. I have the edge. Do we have anything like that tonight? Is there a play you're looking at that's going to be under-owned? Is there like a specific approach you're taking that you think is going to no one else will?
Nah, I mean, I just would say just use the model. Use what we said on here. Our favorite spend ups, like we said, the Detroit value we have, and Lakers value, and try to build a bunch of combinations, and hopefully one of them gets to the top. I don't know. I don't really have an edge. Just kind of use what we said, build some lineups and that.
Oh, perfect. So again, I don't know how many of you guys like doing the mass entering. I know we're trying to introduce a late swap feature coming up in the next hopefully the next couple weeks here. Just kind of you're able to put your current lineups in if there's a late swap needed, and you can change them all and then import it back into FanDuel or DraftKings. So that's something to look forward to. Until then, I mean, there's what about a week and a half left in the regular season. I guess one last question for you. I know we talked Embiid versus Jokic. Who you have right now for MVP?
I mean, I had Jokic the last time we talked, and he's climbed what was he like midway of the pack? Is he almost at the top now? Like
Yeah,
best
so I
20?
was looking at today. Embiid is minus 150. Jokic is plus 130.
Oh man, keep smashing that Jokic underdog for sure. I mean,
Oh,
the more you
I
have
know that
MP,
they No. I'm just saying they had the media voting today, just like a mock voting or whatever, and Jokic won by a pretty good amount over Giannis and Joel. But for some reason he's still an underdog on most betting sites.
I don't understand it,
So
man. I mean, Jokic, you
that's
saw what
something
he
to look out to.
look what he did last night. I mean, 19 boards, 11 assists. Like, you don't see anyone doing that. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm a Philly guy, so I'm pulling for my boy
oh,
Embiid
I know, but
to win. But since I'm also a betting man, and I see that literally Jokic beat Embiid out by a pretty good amount in this media thing, I'm going on and I'm betting Jokic. I mean, he's still plus 130. I mean, it should be even odds at least.
I think it should definitely be even odds. And I don't know, like, plus 140, like, I think it should be. I think Jokic should be the favorite. The way he's playing, like, I don't understand that. Like,
Well,
Embiid's
I
good.
do want to say, back when we first started these streams back in January, when Curry was still the favorite, I said Embiid, you said Jokic. I think they were each respectively like 14-1. So in these course of the last 3 months now, we've just seen our picks just grow and now going up against each other, which is pretty cool to see. I mean, I personally put a little bit of money on Embiid. I have a tiny bit on Jokic, not as much, but it was definitely cool to see our picks kind of flourish over the past 3 months.
Sir, it's pretty lit that happens. I mean, I was never gonna pick Curry to win it all. I mean, win MVP.
No, no. I once Clay came back, I was not thinking that. But all right, so I don't see any more questions in the chat, so we'll get on up out of here. Again, if you guys liked the video today, you can like it, subscribe, obviously join the Discord, like or follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm not going to make the Moose dancing joke anymore because I've yet to see any of those videos. I'm a little disappointed in him for that. But yeah, so besides that, I'm T Boyle 24_DFS. I'm here with DFS Jayhawk. I'll see you next week.
Peace, everyone. Have a good night.